Hello everyone, it's Eleanor here once again, and it's another exciting episode. Today we're talking about the second part of the series of smallness in purpose. I mean, a lot of people want to ask me a question that what is it with this issue of purpose? A lot of pastors preach it, a lot of motivational speakers talk about it. Purpose itself is just the reason why something was created. Say, okay, what is the purpose of this brush? Why was it created? What is the usefulness? What exactly was in the mind of the person that designed the brush and what it is used for? So that is mainly what purpose is. So when people ask you that, okay, what is your purpose? What they are asking you is that what were you designed for? What were you created for? So many of us have issues trying to find out exactly what we are created for, especially if you're somebody that you are very talented, you know how to do a lot of things, and you're telling yourself that is that my purpose. The truth is, when something is your purpose, when something is the reason why you were created, there is a way you will have this level of fulfillment anytime you're partaking in that kind of activity. That is the number one indication that this is something that is in line with my purpose. There are so many things that Eleanor can do. I can make hair, I can make clothes, but it doesn't mean that I find fulfillment in all those things. Those things are just something that I'm naturally talented at, but it doesn't mean that it is the main reason that I was designed for. Try to confuse talent and gift with purpose. Yes, talent and gifts they are very essential when it comes to purpose, because those gifts are weapons that God has placed inside of you to be able to help you to fulfill your purpose, but it doesn't mean it is your purpose. So what do you have to do? You go back to the person that designed you and find out exactly why you were created. Now let's get right into the main point of today's episode, which is smallness in purpose. We've all been there, feeling like we are not good enough, feeling like, okay, because this person is making waves outside, here I am in my little corner, nobody knows me, feeling like am I good enough? People, when they find out why God created them, they'll be telling themselves that I'm not sure that I can do this. Will people listen to me? Will I do this? Will I do that? Be an example of a fish in the water. When a fish is inside water, it's not thinking about anything. It's in its natural state, in its natural environment. It doesn't have to impress anybody, because a fish is made for water. Just like when you are in your purpose, you can be free, you can have fulfillment. You don't have to think about what other people think of you. This issue of smallness happens, it shrinks your purpose, it makes you feel less of who you are. So you try to survive or try to be in an environment that is not designed for you. Season in my life where I started comparing myself to others, not even in a bad way as you will have it, but feeling like, why am I so different from every other person? Why is that anytime we bring up topics about life, it's just as if my own thinking is exactly opposite of everybody that is sitting there? But then over time I realized that is the unique way that I was carved. So it took me a long time to realize that there is a reason why I think differently, there is a reason why I see life from a different perspective. And what was the breaking point for me? Question is this: what is smallness in purpose? When we limit ourselves, when we think that we are not good enough, we feel like our dreams are too big for where we are. We tell ourselves that, can I really achieve this that God is telling me that is my dream? Can I really achieve this goal, despite the fact that I don't know anybody, despite the fact that I don't know any influential person, despite the fact that there's so many limiting things around me, such as finances. Compare ourselves to others. Some people might be in the chapter 20 of their life and you're in chapter 1, and you're telling yourself that, wow, this girl has arrived, she's doing what she's supposed to do. And because you feel like your purpose is not glamorous enough, you abandon your purpose and try to pursue another person. The truth is, people can sense if you're fake. That is the way our society is wired. If you are fake, people can sense it. If you are natural, people can sense it. You don't have to pretend to be somebody you're not. When I started connecting with Eleanor, I told myself that I was going to try as much as possible to be authentic, to be my authentic self. Yes, a lot of people were criticizing me. A lot of people were saying so many things. I had people that were close to me that were, criticizing what I was doing. But I knew what God called me to do. I knew where I was going. I knew exactly what I was designed for. So I was not interested in whatever anybody had to say. I just had to work on myself, take note of all the things they said, and then work on myself to become a better person. Smallness of purpose is in the mind. When you're thinking that you're small because of your background, because of your environment, you're telling yourself that I don't have enough resources, I don't have this, I don't have that, trying to make up excuses. Even when you are in the midst of people and a lot of people are talking about their plans and all these things, and you can't even give a little contribution. If someone asks you, okay, what is your purpose? Even if it's okay, I was designed to make the world a better place. It's enough to answer them, but you can't even speak because you're telling yourself that these people will think I'm a fool. What this purpose self is not even something that is glamorous. The truth is, it doesn't have to be glamorous for it to be God. It doesn't have to be glamorous for it to be the reason why you were designed. You are not in the mind of the creator. God himself designed you for this because he knew you were perfect for the role, because he knew that you were the best person to actually fulfill that calling. You're the right person to fulfill that goal, whether you're called into the business world, the finance world, the fashion world, various aspects of this life. God knew who you were. He knew, in fact, everything about you, to your stature, your complexion, every single thing is tailored to help you to your purpose. So you don't have to feel small. At the signs that you can tell that yes, I'm actually operating in smallness of purpose, because a lot of people don't know. Number one is low self-esteem. When people are talking about their purpose, you don't have anything to say. You're telling yourself that, well, don't let me talk before they think that my idea is stupid, before they think that no. Once you feel like you're already having this low self-esteem, you can't speak when others are speaking. It's obvious that you have this smallness. You're thinking that what God has called you for is too small for you to have something to contribute. Another thing is that when you're settling for an unfulfilling life, when you're, for example, now, like I said, I can make hair, I can make clothes, I can knit, I have so many things I'm talented in, but it doesn't mean that it's my purpose. You understand? Even this YouTube channel is just a platform. It doesn't mean it's my purpose. So many of us, we try to take all the things that we do. There's some gifts that we have that actually helps us to create resources, make money, just to make our life better, and we tell ourselves that that's all your purpose. You find out that even though you engage in all those activities, you just don't find fulfillment. It's just as if there is this void inside of you that refuses to be filled. It's obvious that it's not your purpose. So when you find out that you are settling for an unfulfilled life, that's what you are doing, and it's giving you money, yes, but it's not giving you this sense of fulfillment. So what do you do? Now, I'm not telling you to abandon your source of income. Keep working on that source of income, because it's what is going to power your purpose. Because you need finances if you want to make the world a better place. You need finances if you want to make a difference. So you can keep doing whatever it is you're doing to make money. At the same time, try and find out what you were designed for. Then try and integrate those two things together. Once finances is coming from your gift and your talent, then you'll be able to power it into your purpose, while making sure that at least your focus is on your purpose as well. So another thing is that comparison. When you find yourself comparing to another person, you're telling yourself that, wow, Eleanor, the way she speaks and all. The truth is, Eleanor is designed to speak. She was created and carved to speak to people, to connect with people. You understand? The fact that you are not connecting with people, the fact that you find it so difficult to do all these things I'm doing, it doesn't make you less of a person. It means there is something unique about you that even Eleanor cannot do. So what it takes for you to do is that look inside of you and you find that unique thing that you are designed for. Don't compare yourself to others. We are different. Every single one of us is different, just like our fingerprint is different. So try as much as possible to stop comparing yourself to others. Stop telling yourself that this person has arrived, despite the fact that I've been working on my purpose for a long time, there is no result. Consistency is the key. Resilience is the key. Once you're consistent and you are sure that this thing is what God has called you for, believe me sincerely, resources will come, finances will come one way or the other. Yes, you might not be where you want to be, but it doesn't mean that you're not making progress. It doesn't mean that you're not finding fulfillment in the little things you're doing. Is that many of us are afraid to take risk. Sorry that I'm using myself for an example, but that's the only way that I can get through to you. When I wanted to start this YouTube, when God was telling me to start this YouTube channel, I was telling myself that is it necessary? I'm not this kind of person that I want people to know me. I'm not this kind of person that I even want anybody to even know who I am. I'm just Sam. But then I got this word that was like, can you light a candle and then hide it under the table? It's not possible. If you're a light, you can't be hidden. You understand? As believers, we are a city set upon a hill that can never be hidden. So I told myself that, okay, let me just start this YouTube channel. I knew God gave me the word. I was not afraid to take any risk, because I knew that bringing myself out there in the world is you giving yourself opportunity to, giving people an opportunity to criticize you, to say so many things about you, to guess about you, to try and feel like they have a say in your life. That is how the social media world works. But I told myself that since God has told me to use this as a platform, let me go ahead, to look beyond my fear, and take this step towards it. So there are many of you that God has been telling you that this is what you're supposed to do. This is the next step you're supposed to do. But you're telling yourself that you are afraid, you're scared. And many of you that all it takes for you to actually step into that purpose is for you to brush up your English. It has to do with speaking to others, and you know very well that you're good with communication. You can go and learn. The fact that something is your purpose doesn't mean that you will not gather arsenals and you will not gather other gifts and talents to help you. Like I said, your gifts and talents are to help you towards that purpose. Even till now, Eleanor is still improving herself. I'm still reading books. I'm still learning from so many authors just to get a perfect idea, a perfect picture, a mindset that will help me to be able to articulate myself properly. So if you're somebody that you are called into something that has to do with public speaking and all these things, you have to learn how to speak well. So don't be afraid to take all this risk. Don't be afraid to be vulnerable. And when people are correcting you, take correction. When I started connecting, a lot of people had so many things to say, and I was able to write some of the things they said down and then find ways that I could actually adjust and make things better. So another thing is that many of us are stuck in fear and doubt. You're doubting yourself. What if? The truth is, people will always speak. Whether you do the right thing or the wrong thing, people will always have their own opinion. So why not do what you know that gives you fulfillment, which is your purpose? If you're somebody that you're into jewelries and you know that God has called you to design jewelries and all, you can start small. You can start by selling other people's jewelries. You can start from there, and then before you know, ideas will start coming, innovations will start coming, and then little by little you're moving towards it. If you're somebody that you're interested in fragrances, there are so many things that God has called every single one of us to, that is so broad. This sky is so wide enough for everybody to fulfill their purpose. So don't feel like this person is doing this, you're having this fear that what will people say. It doesn't matter what people say. What matters is, are you finding fulfillment in what you're doing? That I would say that not using your talents is another sign of smallness. When you know that you are talented for this, but because you don't want people to talk, you don't want to step out of your comfort zone, then you are hiding yourself. You guys can remember a place in the Bible that was talking about the parable of the talents. This guy actually hid this talent, and then the master was like, why would you hide it in the first place? You understand? He had to take it from him and give it to somebody to multiply, because you're hiding it, you're not using it, it's stagnant. And a talent, a gift that you're not using towards your purpose, that you are not using to make the world a better place, will just be stagnant, and it will not move, it will not grow, and you yourself, you will not even feel fulfilled, because it's just like a fish that is staying on the land. What are you doing on the land? You're not supposed to be on the land. You're supposed to be in the ocean, in the sea. You're supposed to be swimming and be free. So now, what exactly are the root causes of this smallness in purpose? What is the foundation of? Number one that I would say is a family background. Many of us come from backgrounds that are not encouraging. Probably you have a traumatic childhood, past trauma. A lot of hurt has happened, and you're telling yourself that these people have said I'm not good enough. So those things really affect us a lot, because anytime when you discover why God designed you and then what God designed you for, you're telling yourself that with this my background, I don't think I can do it though. That's number one. Another thing that I would say that is the root causes of smallness in purpose is past hurt and negative self-talk. Another thing that I would say is fear of failure. There are so many of us that we're scared of failure, we're scared of rejection. The fact that rejection is happening, failure is happening, disappointment is happening, it doesn't mean it's not your purpose. Like I said, when I started connecting Eleanor, the feedback I got from so many people were not encouraging. But I told myself that I know what I was called for. I know what God why God designed me and what He designed me for. So it doesn't really matter. I just told myself that I'll just take their criticism and all these things as an opportunity, as a stepping stone for me to keep working on myself, and that was what I did. So the fact that you're facing rejection, disappointment, failure, it doesn't mean that it's not your purpose. So much as possible to be consistent when it comes to what God has called you for. Another thing is that society expectation. The society expects you to fit into a particular mold. Your family expects you to be this kind of child, but you know that, okay, this is where God has called me to do. This is what God has called me to do. Much as possible to keep working on all those things. It doesn't matter what the society thinks. I know that society has a lot to say when it comes to people and all those things, and then your family has a lot to say. Eventually, they will get it. Eventually, it will show that truly God has designed you for what you're doing. Yourself that it is until you get people's validation before you work on your purpose. So many people have abandoned what God has called them for because of society expectation. So many people have added what they are not supposed to add to their purpose because of society expectation, because the society expects them to be this, and then they decide to conform. So the end result of conformity to the society is disappointment, depression. You feel like an imposter in your own life because you're not fulfilled, because everything you're doing is to please others. As much as every single one of us, when I talk about the general purpose why we are created, every single one of us is created to make the world a better place, to contribute to other people's lives. As much as that is why God designed every single one of us, that's the general idea of why God designed every single one of us. But it doesn't mean that you should base your life based on other people's validation. When I started connecting with Eleanor, I faced a lot of criticism. A lot of people had so many things to say. People were like, I can also do it too. I can also open YouTube. Go ahead. I'm not in competition with anybody. You understand? So many people that came to me, they wanted to open a YouTube channel, blah, blah, blah. I was like, go ahead though. I'm not discouraging anybody. I know so many people that, okay, they had more followers than me, had something to say, spice up your channel, blah, blah, blah. That is another thing that you need to be careful of when it comes to this smallness of purpose. When you are secure in who God has called you to be, you won't be adding things you're not supposed to add to your channel because of what people are saying. You're the one that know what God designed you for. You understand? And what God designed you for is something that will contribute to others. Once you start adding what is not necessary to it, that is when you feel this level of unfulfillment. The root causes of smallness in purpose. So now the question is this: how can you break free from this smallness? That is what we want to know, because as much as we've been discussing this smallness and many of you have been getting an idea of what it is, how can you break free from it? Number one is recognize your worth. Regardless of what is going on in your life, regardless of what is going on around you, regardless of how you feel right now, it doesn't make you less of a person. It doesn't mean that you're not God's special masterpiece. So recognize your worth. It is when you see yourself as one in a million, one of a kind, a gem, a diamond, that is when the whole world will see you as that. So you have to first fix your mindset before your life and your environment conforms to that mindset. So the second thing that I would say is that identify your purpose. Like I said, you need to know why you were created. You need to know what was in God's mind when He was creating you, and then walk in that path. Another thing that I would say is that don't be afraid to take risk, especially when you have discovered why God created you. When I mean take risk, I don't mean you taking risks that are not sensible. Try as much as possible to take risk. You understand? What are the things you need to do? How do you need to step outside of your comfort zone? You understand? Things that will actually help you in the path to purpose. The truth is, there is no purpose without sacrifice. Eleanor has made so many sacrifices. I've had so many sleepless nights just to read books, just to equip myself to be able to speak to you guys, to be able to encourage you. So try as much as possible to take risks. So it doesn't have to be risks that are, how do I want to put it, but you get the general idea of what I mean when I say take risk. Another thing that I would say is that take small steps. It doesn't have to be something big. You understand? One step at a time. Keep working on your purpose, keep working on yourself, keep working on your dreams. Another thing that I would say is that surround yourself with people that encourage you, positive people, because so many people have aborted their purpose because of being in the wrong environment, speaking to the wrong set of people that discourage them. Now they are living an unfulfilled life. Accountable. Find somebody you're accountable to, someone that can tell you that, madam, you're already losing focus, Mr. Man, you're losing focus. It might be your partner, it might be your friends, it might be your family. Just try as much as possible to be accountable to someone, so that that will also help you to feel more responsible towards your purpose. Another thing that I would say is that focus on your gift and your talent, sharpen it. You understand? No man is an island, and we don't become what God has called us to be in an instant. We keep working on ourselves until we are able to present ourselves to the world in a better place. So whatever God has called you for, whatever you know that, okay, this is my purpose, this is how I want to make the world a better place, all the gifts that I told you that are weapons, work on it, sharpen them well, and then use them as a point of contact, use them as equipment to actually help you to fulfill that purpose. The kind of platform that your purpose is going to give you, you can't afford to be a mediocre. So try as much as possible to shaping those gifts. Keep working on yourself, keep looking forward, keep focusing despite all that is going on around you. There was a place in the Bible that says that you may not see wind, you may not see rain, but your valley shall be filled with water. So regardless of what is going on around you, try as much as possible to keep working on yourself, keep working on your dreams, keep pushing, and I know God will help you. Another thing that I would say is that living with purpose and intentionality, it means you prioritizing self-reflection, understand your purpose, understand your dreams, understand what God has called you for. Those are the things that will actually help you along the way. Those are the things that will determine the kind of person you work life with. Because if two people are not going in the same direction, then there is no reason for them to even be in a relationship in the first place. Another thing that I would say is that try to be intentional with your time and energy, your strength, in the areas that you know that is in line with your purpose. Don't waste your time on something that you know that you are not fulfilled in. So try as much as possible to use your energy and your time wisely. That means that prioritize self-care. It is when you're okay physically, mentally, emotionally, that is when you can fulfill purpose. So work on those things and stay accountable, like I said. So this is all I have for you on today's episode of Whenever We Know. I hope you get the general gist of smallness when it comes to your life purpose, and I hope you work on all these things. So I love you guys so much. I celebrate you. I hope you keep working on yourself. I hope you keep working on your dreams. So until next time, bye.